How would you react if I told you that the biggest thing in opposition of your career at the moment is something as simple as a tool in your phone? That is what I'm going to explain to all of you today with AI in the future for Gen Z. Ready? So the benefits of listening to my speech: we are all Gen Z, meaning we are the first generations to fully see the effects of AI once we start our careers. And this is an opportunity to get a conversation started. And then hopefully, once by the end, if you're convinced of like what a pressing issue this is, then we can see how it's time for us to act and talk about it. And just to preview real quick, AI has been on the rise in academic spaces since the 2020s. Realistically speaking, AI has been around longer than that, whether it be spaces in like sci-fi or just overall like development of computers and technology. But it's like peak in terms of like being involved in our society has started since the 2020s. And the impact which of Gen Z starts to have trouble looking for jobs due to AI. But before I move on, it's time for me to answer. What exactly is AI? Now, can I have a raise a hand to see if anyone might know what I'm talking about? Right. AI stands for artificial intelligence, and the best way I can put it for you is that it's essentially a computer that mimics a human thought and feeling. So it's not really a human speaking, even though it can form sentences in a way a human might, or give advice or solve problems for you a human might do. But it kind of falls in that little uncanny valley of where you know it's not a real person, yet it mimics what a real person would do. So it's artificial. It's not real, but it's just like an impersonator of human nature. But for main point one, AI showing up in our classrooms, in aka academic spaces. So college, high school, even maybe as far as elementary school, we see platforms such as ChatGPT and Turbo AI, etc., show up as everyday uses for students. Now, I'm not gonna say that maybe all of you have personally used ChatGPT or not, but we're aware of what it is, correct? I mean, not what it is correctly, but like we've heard of it for sure, and we might even have a friend that might have used it as well. So the problem with platforms like ChatGPT or Turbo AI, which is more of like a device where you can like scan the work and it can like tell you like the answers of what it might be. The problem that rises even with the benefits it might give you is that it just it can promote a lot of cheating. It can promote students not taking their education as seriously, and it can promote taking the easy way out of being in an academic space rather than putting the work in. Because if you have a device that's able to study for you and just give you the answers, then it's very easy to fall in that loop and not really engage with the material like you're supposed to. And here, if you could all see, there's this graph, this data published by Spectrum in April 2025, which shows the rise in AI models used in like academic spaces. One of the examples being like Stanford University. Here we can see there was a big spike around like the mid 2010s of and specifically in the United States. We'll be looking at the United States specifically since that's where we are geographically. It started to become way more featured, and now it's become a very big part of how maybe a school might operate with it, and that can be a very big issue. But it's important to say so we have AI in our classrooms, but how might that affect us, I mean Gen Z in particular? Well, for main point two, there has been an increase in difficulty finding jobs among Gen Z, which has led to cause a lot of stress and fear for our future. If we have an artificial intelligence being able to do simple tasks that were meant to be for humans first, mind you, then you can see where the problem might lie, where it ends up taking the jobs of people that were meant to have those jobs in the first place. It ends up taking like entry-level jobs where those were meant to be for beginners to level up in the world. But now that that's taken away from you, while you're still forced to be able to expect to perform at the level you're supposed to do, but you don't have that experience. So it's like you're kind of thrown back and forth of like, a computer's taking my job, but I still have to perform well for a job I had no experience for. So you see where like the stress might come in, the contrasting ideas. So, in data published by Fortune, we can see that after around the pandemic time, it peaked in terms of unemployment for both men and women, and it slowly but steadily has gone down, but it's still not fully down. Like there's still a lot of unemployment, specifically in men. Interesting enough, where they're still up ahead, like ahead of women in terms of unemployment. And according to an NBC News article published in August 2025, there were interviews conducted with recent graduates who are unemployed. One of them being this graduate named Adam Mitchell, a computer science major whose whole dreams were crushed by AI and now works at Starbucks. So he works at Starbucks because the job market gets really messed up when there aren't jobs available because AI already has a job meant for you. So there's no job available. So you can't even do something that your major prepared you for. You just have to work a regular just job at Starbucks. For another example, there's this according to an article from the George Washington University, published in December 2016, so almost 10 years ago. They predicted how much AI will affect the fields of work. So 90% for manual work, so like construction. 19% for routine work, so like factory work, and 4% for creative work, so that could be like art. And flash forward 10 years, we can see the full effects of that in terms of how AI can run kitchens or machinery, or it can make like different databases, or simple like for entertainment with AI art, and where that might be. So you can see that issue is still very prevalent, very much in today, and for the foreseeable future, it probably will not slow down with the rate our technology has been evolving. So in conclusion, to reiterate, there have been an increase in use of AI in academic spaces, thus leading AI taking over entry-level work and leaving Gen Z to scramble to find a job. And here's just a little image to get like a visual of what AI might present. And that's what I had for you all today, and I hope we continue this our conversation, and in the hopes that we all can secure jobs for the future. Thank you so much.